You consider the things you read. You process the things you read. The processing has to do thinking. Whatever you read, you think about it. Thinking means trying to image or picture what you read, value activities or real life experience. And so those of us who fail to think why they're reading, and we are only fooling ourselves. There's no how we can get understanding or understand the content of the text without having a thorough understanding. And so we're going to understand certain things, to process the things that we hear, to process the things that you read, you think about it. We're trying to talk about. What's the writer trying to say? What's the topic of this text? You ask yourself certain questions. What's the passage all about? What do they really want to talk about? Why did the writer say this and that? You're thinking about the thing you read. If you fail to think, it means that you fail to understand. That's what a fundamental truth is, that comprehension helps a reader to be in tune. If you understand the writer's idea, it means that you're going to appreciate the piece of writing. To be in tune, it means that you're having a thorough understanding of what the writer is communicating, or what the writer wants his reader to know. Perfect that is by careful reading. You read actively, but careful reading. A writer has a message encoded in a passage. He has a message. He has something to say. He has something to communicate. He has something that he wants to reveal to his readers. And that's why we have encoded in a passage to be decoded by a reader. And so for the reader to decode things, the reader must consider what he reads, the content of the text, the content of the passage, by thinking actively. A writer has a message encoded in a passage to be decoded by a reader, to be understood by a what? Reader, to be comprehended by a reader. And so it's through logic, through processing the thing that you read, you consider the structure and the structural pattern of the writer. You see, I consider how the writer connects or puts his idea together. To do this, what is to decode? As such, a reader must be able to elicit the meaning and significant information encoded in the text, and understand, elicit the meaning and significant importance. The significant, important, the essential, the vital, that is the relevant word, information encoded in the text. And so here you can go as well. So able to see the meaning and significant information, the vital information, the relevant information, the relevant points encoded in the text. Comprehension passage is usually briefing in academy, because usually read to a learner could also comprehend. A learner could also understand a spoken text. What this presupposes is that a text When here it says, it means the contents, all the words that make up the word piece of writing. I call it content. And what this proposes is that the test of comprehension could only be done where there is a communication medium. There's a means of communication of which would be written or spoken. And so, reading is basic, it's fundamental to the mastery of comprehension skills. The first step to understanding is reading. So, there's no how we can understand. There's no how we can comprehend what the writer has encoded in the text. The first step in understanding is reading. We don't just read as though we're reading a novel or a storybook, but we read the totality of your attention to what? To the information. The information as contained in the text. You're not going to rush to reading. However, many of us are not doing well in another subject because I will be able to read actively. Active reading is paramount, it's mandatory. If you don't read actively, you will not understand a certain idea. You read actively, you take in the details. You take in the details by thinking. And then your heart be centered on what you are reading. And as you are reading, and then your mind is is in diverse places. And there's no how you can gain understanding of the totality of your mind, your heart, the interest, or center understanding the passage. So that's why we come again, reading is basic to the mastery of comprehension skills. Remember that comprehension is reading and understanding. But for you see, everything comes first, is complete. I'll be able to understand. No reading, no what? Understanding. Am I communicating, those of us here?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
It is the first step in comprehending a passage. What is the first step in comprehending a passage? Reading. A reader can only decode the meaning of a given passage and consequently answer. And thereafter, answer the questions following. After he has read, it's only when you have read the passage, it's only after you have read the passage that you can answer the questions following the passage. Without reading the passage, can you answer the passage? Okay, you're spiritual, you're possessed with powers. Reading the passage, say, I know the passage already. I am a witch. That you back again. And so, in the words of Adeyanju and the book written in the year 2003, point out page 103. What that is the special review of from the work Essence. Adeyanju and he wrote a book in 2003. Find it in page 103. It's a reading creates access to what? Knowledge. What creates access to knowledge is reading what we read, what we what? Know. For you to be intelligent, you must be exposed. Exposed to reading. Ogunfiji and Olasukami, they wrote a book in 2000. You'll find it in page 94 of your work. Identify skimming and scanning as to levels of reading needed to be effective reading comprehension. You have been given two tools, effective tools in reading comprehension, skimming, and scanning. Skimming requires the reader to have a cursory look. A cursory look, if you skim, you're skimming. It's just like when you visit a vendor, newspaper vendor, then you just skim. You skim through. Just quickly a cursory look at the given passage to establish what it's all about. Just want to know what the passage is all about. I know that you're reading the passage and hitherto, but I just want to have an idea of the word passage. That is what application of what skimming or skim. You want to know what the passage is all about. You want to know the central idea of the word passage. You want to know the subject matter of the word, but you want to know what the writer is trying to communicate. Is it understood?
Yes.
Arafat,
Yeah.
is it clear?
Yes.
At the given passage to establish what is all about, what the passage is all about. And here, skimming, really concerned with the subject matter, really concerned with the central idea. And in skimming, in scanning, in scanning, the reader concentrates more deeply on the text, the goal of getting specific meanings and specific information. That is the aim of scanning. That is, the reader concentrates more on the text with the goal, with the intent, specific meanings, specific information. So, in this chapter, we are suggesting a minimum of 3 readings. We are suggesting a minimum that the passage should be read at least and thrice in comprehension task. When you're given a comprehension exercise, a comprehension passage, and we are suggesting that you read that the passage be read and at least 3 times. Skimming and scanning levels of opposite and others to come in more general. Why? And yet is specific. Suggestion is specific. The implication of all this is that comprehending, about what comprehending means, understanding a written text requires what? Reading. Understanding a written text. Comprehending a written text requires reading. Of course, read actively. Active what? Reading. Another basic concept in reading comprehension is meaning. Meaning is recognizing and interpreting what a writer says. You're trying to recognize, trying to interpret. To interpret means you're trying to digress, you're thinking, pondering on that thing. You're trying to have a good knowledge, understanding of that thing by thinking deeply. Meaning is recognizing and interpreting what a writer says. You're interpreting the words, the sentences, and what expressions in use. And so we'll lay emphasis on the words, the part of speech the word belongs to, the meaning of the words, the sentences, the type of sentence. Is it a complex sentence? Is it a simple sentence? Is it a compound, complex sentence? Of course, when we find a sentence, and the sentence happens to be a complex sentence, the writer introduces the subordinating conjunction in order to tell us more about the meaning clause. The complex sentence is a sentence that contains image and a subordinate clause. And so while attempting comprehension exercise, you consider the types of sentences as used by the writer in each of the paragraph and how he says it. In a sense, hope you know what I'm going to say there. In a sense, I'm using there with in a sense, meaning also in comprehension, meaning means understanding. What does this thing stand for? What does this thing mean? What does this symbolize? Both the meaning of a word that is message by reading. You know we can interpret. You know we can by what? The message is by reading the word. Is by reading the word, the text or the passage. Without reading, we can't understand. For the purpose of effective comprehension, three levels of meaning could be identified. Three levels of meaning. Words have three levels of meaning. And for you to be good in academy, you must pay or give attention to these three levels of meaning. And because while we read certain texts, there are some words that we have never come across before, unfamiliar words, unusual words, unusual expressions, unfamiliar expressions, odd words. And then you're in the examination situation where you're not allowed to use dictionary. How do you know? How do you infer? How do you know the meaning of the word? And so, what has three levels of meaning? One is situational or contextual meaning. Two is literal level meaning. Three, inferential meaning. We are considering them one after the other. Number one, situational or contextual meaning is to be able to interpret an expression or a word as it is used in a passage. That is to be able to interpret an expression or a word as it is used in a passage. That is the situational, also called contextual meaning of word. The word, you're trying to interpret the word based on how it is used in the word passage. It means that you're going to consider example you're reading, and then you come across strange words. You want to know the meaning of that word in that paragraph, in that text, in that sentence. You consider the entire word, that the entire sentence that the word finds itself. You read the sentence that comes before that the sentence, the unfamiliar words, and finds itself. And also you read the sentence that comes after the word, the sentence in which the unfamiliar word contains. That is what we mean by contextual or situational meaning of the word without the use of dictionary. From there, if you have understanding of the sentence, and that's why understanding is important, and you should be able to infer. To infer means you try to guess the meaning of that word because you have understanding. You know what the writer or what the past the text is all about, and from there you're able to what guess the meaning of that word. Am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, well, looking at a situation now, you read from the man and girl, don't just be looking at me. For example, and let us analyze this sentence. Let us analyze this sentence. After a first degree, she will proceed to the second degree. You can see the word we want to consider there, the word we want to consider is proceeds. After our first degree, she proceeds to the second degree. The word proceed in this context means what? To advance. Proceed means to what? Advance or to progress from one stage to another. You're advancing. That's what it means in that context. That after a first degree, to proceed to the second degree. So proceed there. You're going to, from what I've read now, you're going to give meaning to what? Interpret the meaning of what? Proceed. And so, from the context there, you know that proceed can be replaced, means what? Advance or what? Progress. It also means go. Proceed also means what? Go. That is, after our first degree, should we go to the second word? Degree. And so go is informal. In some other contexts, proceed will mean to move or travel in a particular direction. And so that is the situational or contextual meaning of a word. It's important that you give attention to this explanation. Now let's quickly look at the other point, inferential level of meaning of a word. Number two, before the inferential, let's look at the literal meaning of a word. The literal meaning or the literal level meaning is simply the surface interpretation of a word or an expression, the surface, just as the word appears in the content, the surface interpretation of a word or an expression. It means that one does not understand such an expression beyond its ordinary or common usage. You only understand it, your understanding of that word is only limited to a certain level. And the literal means when something carries or has a literal meaning, it means it has a meaning that is easy to what? Guess or understand. And that is what we mean by literal meaning. Example, when I say sit down, it has a literal meaning. Even a layman will know what it means by the word sit down. And so that after you not hear the literal meaning of a word, you only know the word literally, you don't know the word beyond its literal meaning. Literal means what? Ordinary meaning. And proceed in the sentence above will literally mean what? Go. The literal word. The literal meaning of proceed is what? Go. The word go is informal. The word proceed is what? Formal. And so in formal speech, in formal occasion, we ought to use what? Formal six tense. Formal words. Proceed is formal. Go is what? Informal or advanced. We're looking at the inferential level. Inferential level involves interpreting a word or an expression beyond its peripheral meaning. The word peripheral means literal. Now we are now understanding what? We're trying to understand the word beyond the literal meaning, beyond the word, the ordinary word meaning. When we say iron and blue are birds of feathers, it has a word, inferential word meaning. It doesn't have a literal meaning. Not that they are birds, but that expression carries what? Idiomatic expressions. It contains idiomatic, which is not easy to what? Guess, except to what? Infer from the content. And so as students, and you must be ready to infer in all your subjects. If you want to do excellently well in all your subjects in academic, you must be ready to infer. And to infer means to try to guess the meaning on unfamiliar words or expressions. And you must be diligent. If you're not diligent, you'll not do excellently well in academic. Back to inferential level. This is possible by one's previous knowledge. Previous means or foreknowledge. You didn't have foreknowledge of the word. You didn't know what the word stands for. You didn't know what the word represents. You don't know what the word symbolizes. You've heard of it before. You've read it before. You have now found it in the text. And that will help you to understand the meaning of the unfamiliar words. So previous knowledge, that is foreknowledge of that expression, or by what? Inspiration. There must be something that will give you inspiration, something that will inspire you. I don't know if you have inspirator, you have someone that or something that inspires you. You know, some people are being inspired by mental, physical forces, and some people are being inspired by the Spirit of God. And at the year, out of us, hope you have something that inspires you. Arafat.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so impression meaning of what it means. Yeah, one should have a good knowledge of the word, and one can also understand or know the meaning of the word by what? Inspiration. And for instance, in a whole sentence, what can infer? I've told you to infer, to try to guess the meaning of familiar words. What does it mean to infer? You're thinking about it, thinking logically. Example, if you have like this, you have something like this, a conversation between the man and the man. And then the man asks the woman, have you tried the steak at the cafeteria? And then the woman responds, say, actually, I am a vegetarian. Now, I want to explain certain things about inference. The word infer was derived from the word inference. And the man as woman, have you tried the cafeteria? We are assuming that these two places are places of English. And then every English person knows what steak is. Steak, that's what meat. Then here we call it suya. And have you tried steak at the cafeteria? Now the woman, instead of the woman giving a yes or no word, reply, instead of her to go straight, say yes or no. Actually means sincerely, truly, honestly. Frankly, I am a vegetarian. Here, it did not give the man a direct word answer. She didn't give the man an explicit word answer, but she did what? The right statement. You want to do what? Infer. How do the man infer? The man will infer based on the available word information and what more. You know, in fact, no, I don't know yes or no. And you want to stress the man. You want the man to what? Is the actually, I am a vegetarian. So the man will not infer. The man will infer based on what vegetarian. The man will not infer. We have to himself. Oh, vegetarian, a person who do not what. So now the man knows. Now the man has provided the man is able to know that the woman has not tried it because the woman is a what? Vegetarian. And so you must infer. There's nothing difficult. It's only when you infer. All things are possible. To infer. So be diligent. You must be hardworking. You must be ready to read. You must be ready to understand. Not just attending classes and lectures, but and giving the totality of your time, attention, your resources to the study. So, and for instance, in the above sentence, one can infer that she will go from that class to the other. And because of one's knowledge of the relationship between proceed and go, it must be stated that the inferential level of meaning transcends word alone and ogunsiji in year 2004 in page 101, referred to as what? Surface level of meaning. This level of meaning requires a reader to interpret the message as contained in the words. Interpret the message as contained in the words and sentences of